start our recording here, and I'm going to be sharing my screen with you all. I don't typically, for those of you who worked with me before, create like structure-oriented PowerPoint things that said the oils have called forth and have asked for that to happen. So I was up creating a PowerPoint last night for the first time in a really long time that I have used that kind of technology. So we're going to work with that, and I think it's easier to have the PowerPoint, especially when it comes to the oils and like their names and the spelling and all of that, to really just have it kind of in front of you. So just want to be sure that this says we are, okay, cool, we are recording. Just wanted to make sure. Awesome. So thank you for those of you who are here with me now. I appreciate you. There's about 50 people that signed up for this, knowing that usually they all like to come in and watch the replay, is what I kind of find in the live free kind of things. People like to watch the replay. So I appreciate you being here, putting your energy in to connecting with me. It's much appreciated. So we are here to talk about essential clearing and using essential oils to help accelerate our energy clearing and healing, and what I like to call transmutation. So taking an energy from one end of the spectrum, the low vibrational end of the spectrum, and rapidly bringing it to the high vibrational end of the spectrum. That's what we got going on. So essential clearing, what we're going to be learning today, is a protocol system that uses essential oils to rapidly transmute unwanted energetics from our fields. And I just love this little guy here, where everything is energy. So everything that we're continuously experiencing in this life is energy. So between this little bottle of oil and this body and this pen and this desk, all of it is energy. So at all times we are constantly exchanging energy with each other. Not often are we at all times clearing our energy and clearing these interactions that we're having with various people, places, experiences, and they start to build up and we start to become weighted down, energetically speaking. So the unwanted energetics. So essentially, the unwanted energetics that we're talking about today are going to be our hooks, our cords, hello Louise, welcome, and attachments and possessions. So energetic hooks and cords. You probably have heard me talk about this before. Likely watching that live video is what brought you into this moment in time together today, where when we are having an exchange with another being, we have a hook that can get attached, and it essentially creates this cord. So if you think about, like an octopus, this is my favorite way to kind of look at it. That octopus can stick its tentacles out in all these different directions and hook onto all these different things, and then can kind of pull itself towards it or push itself away from it. Well, we have tentacles as well. They're just energetic tentacles, and we're constantly sticking them out and latching them onto other people, while simultaneously they are also latching energetic cords onto us as well. So there is no such thing in the world that I live in where anything is bad or wrong. So let's just, when we talk about these lower vibrational energies, they're not bad or wrong to have these hooks latched to you. It's that it can become a little bit tiring, and you can wind up in repeated behaviors and repeated cycles with some of the same people that maybe you don't want to be repeating these same cycles. And a great example of that would be relationships that have kind of cycled their way out, and they keep coming back and they keep coming back, and you're wondering, like, why does this person always show up when I start talking to a new person or start to get happy or anything like that? Because their energetic core that they attached during that relationship had not been severed, it's been still attached. So they are still feeding and relying on your energetics to fuel some part of them that's often very unconscious. So that's the hooks and the cords. And they happen between not only just living, breathing beings, they happen between ourselves and our houses, ourselves and our cars, and our phones and the things that we're using often, we become attached to them. We create energetic hooks to them. The house that I'm staying in right now, the woman who lives above, she rents out the first floor of her apartment, was trying to sell her house for years. She's been trying to sell this house for literally years now. And I came here and I'm like, well, the land and you are attached to each other. This house is not going to let you sell it because you are attached. And we did a clearing with the oils, and literally the next day she had an offer on the house and her house sold. The next day, right when the cord was released, just like magic. She's like, oh my God, I'm a full believer. She was already in the realm of energy before, otherwise she might not have let me, you know, bless her up with the oils and do all the clearing work. That said, it's rather instantaneous when we release these cords, how quickly that energy comes back to us. Because when we have our energy extending outwards and attached to someone else or attached to an experience, essentially we are feeding our energy into that experience or that person rather consistently. So when we get our energy back, it's like a wave of our vital life force is brought back into us, and we stop being so lethargic, like mental brain fog, feeling tired throughout the day. If you've ever felt really, really energized and then you had a conversation with someone and after the conversation you were just like, wow, I need a nap, or wow, I feel exhausted, or what just happened? It's because in that exchange a cord was attached that started to drain you energetically and bring you into their field. Something else, the last kind of piece that I'll say about these cords and the hooks is that we become in tune to whoever we're attached to or whatever we're attached to subconscious thoughts. So if someone is in a very depressive state and you are holding space for them and a cord is attached because you have not become aware of that boundary, we're going to talk about boundaries in this call because they're super important, and something gets attached, then all of a sudden, you know, maybe you're going to bed and you start having depressive thoughts and you're thinking to yourself, man, I haven't had depressive thoughts in a really long time. Well, it's actually not your thought, it's not your subconscious, it's this cord that's attached between you and that other person, and you can literally hear their subconscious thoughts and think that they're your own. So it's this whole gunk of turmoil and kind of chaos that kind of happens when we start attaching our cords and having them. Some people, like thousands of cords attached and their energy going on all these different directions. Eventually the body does start to manifest this in physical disease and things of that nature because its energy is constantly going out into other places. So attachments kind of go in alignment with the hooks and cords, so I won't go too much more into that because it's very much similar. And then we go into the realm of whatever your faith is, whatever you believe in the world, you can hear what I have to say about possessions and entities, and you can brush your hands of it and just let it go. Or maybe you're like, yes, I know this is happening, I know that this is real, and whatever it is, I'm going to speak to it from what I know in the space of having possessions and entities attached to our energy field. So beings on the astral plane or the emotional body will attach to us and create what's called possessions, where people are possessed by entities. And we're going to go into detail on what someone possessed by an entity might have symptoms of, because they're pretty typical. About 70% of the people in the United States are possessed by entities of some sort. Right now it's even higher, just because we're in a portal of massive astral kind of interference. So we'll talk about possessions a little bit more in depth in a moment. So I'll leave it there for now. So for those of you who have not worked with me before, a couple of you have, and I know likely the other people that will be watching this later might have only become aware of me through Facebook or my live videos. And I said I've been working with energy for the last 10 years throughout various traditions of both Eastern and Western practices. Eastern practices of the Tao, yoga, Ayurveda, and Western practices of, I have my master's in metaphysics, and I have gone through a lot of different programs of spirit psychology and really diving into our energetics. The reason that I went into this path of energy was because I was diagnosed with a genetic disease from birth and pretty much did not believe anything that I was being told and realized that I was in control of my body, and that sentence was not, because it was a sentence. Essentially, they were telling me I wouldn't walk by a certain age, and that's like a sentence that they put on you. So I started diving into natural medicine, into the plants, using plants to heal my body, using energy, using my mind to really get to a space now where I have an incredibly healthy body that most of the time I'm just in awe of it. So that's kind of my journey of why I share, why I believe so much in this planet, because I think that truly all of the answers that we seek for everything that's happening, both mentally, emotionally, and physically, are found in nature. All of the medicines that we could possibly really need or want for our bodies are found in nature. And I know that there's a part of you that resonates with that, otherwise you wouldn't have come to an essential oils kind of learning experience. So I know that we're in this together, and I know that there's a lot of people that are on this planet right now to really spread the message of natural healing. So that's just a little bit about me. And if you've not seen Love's Mission, that is the site that I share my work from. So I love this quote. It's by Robert Swan. It says, "The greatest threat to our earth is the belief that someone else will save it." So that's something that I use as kind of a reminder every day that because I'm here and because I have this connection to the earth, then it's part of my responsibility to be involved in sharing her medicines, to not just brush it off and say someone else will do it, because that can be a tendency for people and the ego, essentially, to say someone else will take care of it. And we're currently at a moment in time on our planet where we all must rise up together. So I just dropped that in there as a little reminder to us all that when we're using the oils, we are putting our energy in towards nature. We're putting our energy in towards the belief that these plants and flowers and trees and elementals can and will heal us. And the more of us that collectively put our energy in towards that, the more that we'll see the rise of natural healing. So, through sharing the infinite wisdom and rapid healing and the all-providing nature of this earth, we can truly make a difference. So what I have come to learn as a healer and guide is that people want to see results right away. Programs by the beliefs of especially Western medicine that has a more symptomatic approach where you go in with a pain, you get, a pain reliever or whatever it is that makes the pain go away right away. So people have been programmed to want instant results when it comes to their healing, when it comes to pretty much everything in their lives right now. We want to see it happen right away. This patience and evolutionary process is sped up rapidly right now. So rewiring those programs of I need to have it right now, and I need to know that it's being fixed now, and I want this pain to go right now. To do that in the entire species would likely take, first and foremost, a mass awakening, and then it would also, we would all have to go in and reprogram our subconscious programs. It would take a tremendous amount of time and effort, and during that time we would likely continue to see the destruction of the earth. So instead, what I personally find to be the most effective way is meeting people where they're at. So if people have a program that says, I want to be healed right away, then we offer them a way for them to experience healing right away. With that in notion, if we think about healing with plants, typically it takes a massive dose of nature in order for your body to heal from something right away. That's when we come into the use of the oils. 1 cup of peppermint tea, essentially, you would need 30 cups of peppermint tea, and that's 1 little drop of oil. So in 1 little drop of oil, it's 30 doses of peppermint tea. So if you're healing from something in your belly or something of that nature that peppermint tea is really great for, you can either have 30 cups of tea and take 30 days to start to see results from that, or you can have 1 drop of oil and get the same dose of 30 days worth of tea. So the oils are really the answer for meeting people where they're at in their healing journey and allowing them to see right away, really instantly, how effective the plants are at healing. And I would only speak to this because I'm a full believer. When I was traveling through Egypt, I was having all different types of physical sensations and energetic sensations that if I did not have the oils that were available from the one woman who brought them, I really don't know how I would have made it through that journey, because it was almost an instant shift where I'd be feeling like I was going to pass out or vomit or have all these really crazy kind of physical experiences from the energy that is Egypt during a summer eclipse or summer solstice. The oils hit me right away and would take me out of these like really, really intense moments in my body, and that's when I knew like I was sold. I was sold on the oils to a level that I hadn't tapped into yet. I had been using them for a long time in my yoga practice and in my healing for like headaches and cramps and things of that nature, and I hadn't really tapped into what they were fully capable of. And once I had that awareness, I was just like, this is a gift that I want to share freely with people so that they can have access to it, because I really believe in it. So this is just a little bit of a piece about the concentration of oils. Essentially, I talked about the 28, 30 cups of tea for 1 drop of oil. If you take anything in nature, you're pretty much getting it, the oils from the seeds, from the bark, from the rind, from the leaves of the plant that are going to be pressed and distilled and extracted. So you can kind of see in the little picture on the right-hand side there that before applying the balance, the cells are kind of in their whole like clumping mode, and they're in a very congealed kind of space that ultimately doesn't allow for free-flowing health, free-flowing movement to happen. And one of the greatest compounds for health and energetic vitality and our spiritual journey, whatever reason you're using the oils for, fluidity and flow are some of the most important things for health, like having your energy being consistently flowing, having your lymphatic system being consistently flowing, having everything be in flow. So you can see that within 30 seconds, the cells completely come into their own. They start to glow, they create form and shape again, and they're able to harmonize throughout the body. So it's a rather effective, and literally that's 30 seconds that this starts to take place. There have been some studies that doTERRA has done wherein within 20 minutes of placing an oil on the bottom of their foot, whatever symptoms that someone is experiencing are instantly shifted. And it's without putting, you know, acetaminophen or caffeine or any of the other harsh substances inside of the body. So when we think about the natural approach, really what we're doing is we're going to the root cause of whatever the experience is, and then allowing that to rise up to treat the symptoms. Whereas the modern medicine approach is really looking at the symptoms and then the root cause. Once the symptoms are treated, very rare that they go to the root cause, which is why so many diseases oftentimes come back. You know, I've known many people who have used things like chemotherapy, and they've had several cancers. Women in my family have had these experiences because the root cause of whatever was causing that, the emotion and the imbalance of whatever is causing that disease, wasn't addressed. The amazing thing about the plants and the oils is that they literally, and when we start talking about the oils, you'll see how this happens, they bring up to the surface anything that has been suppressed, any emotion that has been suppressed. Instead of pushing it down and masking it, they bring it to the surface where it can be healed, revealed, and transmuted. Like black pepper, for instance, the oil of black pepper will literally bring up to the surface any subconscious fear-based patterns that have been stuck in your body somewhere, usually causing disease over time and space, and those will start to come to the surface where they can be healed. Because if we can't feel it, if we don't know it's there, we ultimately can't heal it. So these energies that have been suppressed so far deep into our subconscious, so far deep into our body, it's very hard to fully get to the root cause of them when they're buried behind all of our defense mechanisms. Well, the oils and the plants and the trees and the flowers, they allow this to surface where we can be fully conscious and to heal them. So talking a little bit about the symptoms of our energetic imbalances and our attachments and our cord. So things like being lethargic, having depressive thoughts, feeling anxious, bouts of anger. If you've ever just had like bouts of anger kind of rush through you, very well could be. The cord has been attached. And this is a really great way, so if you've ever been cut off in traffic before and someone cuts you off in traffic and you're kind of just like, oh, it's okay, you know, maybe you're practicing your meditation and you feel good about it and someone cuts you off in traffic and you're like, no big deal. And then all of a sudden you just get this rush of anger that moves through you and you're like, what just happened? Well, what happened was when that person cut you off in traffic, they likely flicked you off or whatever it was and attached an energetic to you. And then you started having the anger thought or emotion come through because their anger got attached to you in that moment. In the very simplest ways. We don't even have to physically know the person. It can be on Facebook. If someone's scrolling your Facebook feed, and since we're all coming in from social media here, someone's scrolling your Facebook feed and read something you wrote and they're like, oh, that person is just the worst, like their opinion is terrible and so. They have just sent an energetic cord and have attached it to you and are now going to be feeding you negative energy. So when we speak about boundaries and sovereignty and energetic shielding a little bit further on, you'll start to realize how imperative this is since we are now in a highly social world, meaning we're interacting with people all across the globe, most of us, through Facebook, through Instagram and Twitter and email and our websites and all of it. We're super connected, which requires higher levels of sovereignty and higher levels of boundaries and energetic awareness because we're all molding together and connecting much more availably and readily. This is a lesson that I learned the hard way when I really first started sharing my videos on social media in a larger way, and I started just getting all these weird like feelings and expressions from people that were commenting on my page, and I started to like feel them like almost like jar at my energy system, and I started to realize that my boundaries were not strong enough for how much I was expanding in that moment and how many people were becoming available to see my work, and especially some of the things that they might perceive to be crazy when I talk about politics and the new earth and all that kind of stuff. You know, a lot of interesting chords started to come my way. So using the oils and having energetic boundaries, which we'll talk about, are incredible ways. I no longer have any type of experience when someone comments something on my page that is totally in disagreement, where I feel like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or oh, there's something bad or wrong with me, or oh, you know, all those types of experiences that happen when people attach these low vibratory chords. So feelings of unworthiness. That's another huge one that will get attached to us, especially in relationship dynamics. And if we've ever been in a relationship where we felt unworthy and that cord hasn't been cut, it's going to be continuously fed between the two people, this story of unworthiness. This can be a big one that shows up in family units between parents and their children, whereas whatever kind of dynamic is playing out karmically will feed this unworthiness story until that cord is cut. And there are some amazing oils that help with ancestral healing that we'll talk about. So to not go too far into that or get too ahead of myself, which is why I created the PowerPoint. So we have stress, pressure, like feeling an immense amount of pressure on our bodies, anxiety, stress, heat, internal heat of our body. If we ever start getting really hot and overheated, which causes inflammation, which causes disease, you know, the body starts to respond to these negative energies. And then the one that I hear many complaints about, brain fog, mental, like not being fully present, not being able to make clear decisions, not being able to think clearly. This is all signs of people draining your energy. So if you've ever gone to the doctor for any of the above symptoms and received something to treat the symptom, whether it be antifungal or antiviral or antibacterial or whatever they're giving out these days, and once the treatment was complete, the symptoms either instantly or eventually returned. It's because that symptom was the symptom of the cord that had been attached. And all that antiviral or antibacterial or pain medicine did was to mask the symptom. It doesn't get to the core of the energetic cord that was not removed. So people stay in these cycles of what we think is chronic disease, chronic headaches, chronic pain. If you've ever had chronic pain in your body, chances are there has been a deep cord that has put into that part of your body that has not been fully released on both ends. And I have experience of that firsthand with my father. We have a cord that was attached between my right shoulder and his left, and we've both been working on this cord, releasing it. And we have a very loving, supportive relationship, and it was like this strong cord that was picked up when I was 2 years old of him supporting me and like saving my life essentially, and that was stuck, and both of us had tremendous pain in the exact opposite spot on our shoulders that we started consciously working on to transmute and release that cord. And it was only until we started doing like the energetic releasing of the cords did the actual pain start to go away, even though he was doing acupuncture and I was doing massages and doing all this work. It wasn't until we started looking at the energetic cord, why it was attached to begin with, and both choosing to release it, that pain finally subsided. So it is time now that we fully embrace our energy and have an awareness of it, that we start to acknowledge and accept our multidimensional energetic nature, and that we are more than just human beings. We are more than just this flesh suit sitting at a table or in nature. There is, if you ever had an experience of peeking behind the veil, whether it be through psychedelics or through meditation or through dream space, where you kind of like get a peek to the other side and you see all of the energetics that are happening between other people and through you and everything around you. If you ever had that peek, or if you ever get the chance to have that peek, or if you start to develop this sight to see that, you will, from that moment forward, never drop your boundaries again and remain completely at all times clearing your energy, because it is like crazy how many energetics are starting to attach and are playing, and we're driving through them, and we only see a very, very small amount of this reality. So now we're going to move into the oils and their cleansing, and there's time at the end for any questions that people have. So the basic oils for cleansing that we'll talk about are going to be Melaleuca, and Melaleuca is tea tree oil, and it removes about 80% of our energetic hooks, cords, and attachments. So it is the oil of energetic boundary and protection. I cannot recommend having Melaleuca handy at all times, especially for instances when we talk about possession, like times that people get possessed, like going into surgery, trauma, car accidents, all of that type of stuff, like just dabbing a little bit on your spine. Your spine is the best way to get oils distributed throughout your entire body. The Melaleuca will remove about 80% of your energetic hooks, cords, attachments. If you have felt after a conversation that something was latched onto you because you're starting to feel different after that conversation, just grab the Melaleuca and rub it wherever you're starting to feel that density in your body. So we have Melaleuca, so that's like a have on hand at all times of oil. The other one that, well, there are three that are like the prime three for really doing energetic clearing, and then we'll go into the specialty ones. So oregano. So we have Melaleuca that removes about 80% of our energetic hooks. Then we have the really big energetic hooks that we've been carrying for lifetimes, right? Cords that we've been carrying with souls for lifetimes. And we like meet that person, we're like, wow, I've known you for so long, and then we have these crazy relationships with them, or these crazy experiences with them, because there are those really big hooks. Or trauma. Trauma creates very large hooks and energetic attachments into people's field as well. So oregano is going to go in and clear up the really large hooks that require an intensity. If you've ever used oregano oil on your body before, it creates a heat experience and an intensity on your body. The heat experience and the intensity is a sign that it's working. So, as an example, I've used oregano on my solar plexus regularly, and usually it doesn't burn. Last night I was feeling something funky was coming in because I was doing a lot of work on this mountain that had a lot of weird energy to it. And when I got home, I was feeling all types of, like, just, there's energy around me still that I need to clear. So I used oregano on my solar plexus, and it was burning so intensely as a sign of how much energy was able to clear in that moment, how much heat was being released from that experience, that normally I wouldn't have such an intense reaction because it was really, really needed in that moment. So then the third one that kind of goes into this little holy trinity of the three essential clearing ones is lemongrass. And lemongrass is going to go and get those annoying little gnats. So like if you were flicked off in traffic, or someone told you that you were stupid, or someone commented something rude on one of your posts, or someone bumped into you, you know, those little annoying experiences that we have with people that really don't mean anything, that they stick to us in some way. I've ever been cut off in traffic, and this used to happen all the time when I lived in LA, and you'd feel like all the energetics, because people are constantly cutting each other off and banging into each other and having all these experiences, and someone shows up wherever they're coming to meet you and they just complain about the traffic the whole time, or they complain about whatever. That's when lemongrass is going to be super handy. You can also sub lemon oil. Lemon is going to be more of a cleansing and detox. It's really great to drop on the crown of your head to kind of clear out the mental fog, the brain fog. I start every morning with lemon on my third or my crown to just get like a jump start, release all the dreams from the night before, and come into the day with a clear thought process. The fourth one of our basic kind of standard oils for cleansing is going to be frankincense. And frankincense is going to be the release of, frankincense is the oil of spiritual truth. So it has a really high vibration, which allows us to release low vibrations from our field. So the protocol that we'll go through will use frankincense to come in and repair our aura and repair the vibrational field of our body. So if you are someone that, say, maybe is moving through a lot of physical disease or sickness or things of that nature, essentially your body is operating below like a 50 megahertz frequency. Around 60 is health. Around 50 is when we start to maybe get colds and coughs and things like that. When we get even lower, like 30 is when we start to develop cancers of that nature. So these are the frequency spectrums of our body. So frankincense is going to be well beyond 60. I think it's like 100 and something hertz. So adding this to your body raises your body's vibration, releases those lower vibrations, those lower cords that are sucking and draining your energy to overall health and repair your energy field. So, awesome. So those are kind of the four standard ones for clearing. Those are the ones that we'll be using in the protocol, which we'll go into next. So I'm going to go into some of my favorite ones for specialty clearing, because I know a lot of the people that are going to be watching this either today or in the future are people that do healing work, are people who do healing work on either themselves or on other people. So these are going to be the ones that are going to assist you in working with, you know, people who've had trauma, people who have various experiences, karmic healing, all of that nature. So the first one is helichrysum. Helichrysum is essentially our fast-acting response to trauma. So if anyone has ever been sexually molested or raped, if they've ever been seriously abused, especially in their childhood, if there was childhood abuse, sexual abuse, anything of that nature that is going to leave a traumatic imprint on someone's aura. Helichrysum is the oil that is going to go in, and I actually think this is spelled wrong here. Yeah, it's CHRYFUM. I missed that little in my spell check. So helichrysum is going to go in and help to remove all of the traumatic blocks. If someone has been in a car accident, if someone has, lost a limb, or if you've ever almost drowned in the ocean, these are all the types of traumatic experiences that bring a lot of shock into our energy field. If someone has potentially, seen one of their parents pass in front of them, that kind of energetic helichrysum on the crown and on the third eye is going to help shift that energetic out of your field. So helichrysum for traumatic energies. There's like this really interesting buzzing happening in my room. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It sounds like a giant bumblebee is just buzzing, and my whole room is buzzing. So the next one that we have is cilantro. Cilantro is amazing when it comes to releasing control. So letting go of the control, or the belief that we have control, or releasing the ego. Oregano is another great one for ego. Assisting in releasing control. So if we're having a hard time releasing the experience, releasing the energetic, releasing the trauma, releasing the cord, releasing the attachment, cilantro is great for releasing attachment. Maybe you're in a relationship that has ended, that kind of nature. It allows us to detox our negative emotions, detox the negative debris that we've picked up from an experience, and totally lighten one's load. So cilantro is also really great for, when we say detox, it's really great for heavy metal detoxification. It will help to remove and pull out heavy metals from our body. So it's an all-around really special plant. You can, even just adding cilantro to salads and things like that can be really, really helpful. So the next oil we're going to chat about in our specialty cleansing blends are ginger. Ginger. So where to begin on the victim consciousness? We are in a time when the vast majority of humanity is operating in what's called victim consciousness. And whether that is something that you experience in your own life, or you can just look out into the world and kind of see it, which is why we've given away all of our power to governments and organizations to keep us safe, because of this victim programming. So ginger is going to go in and help us to release victim programming and victim patterning. If someone has a relationship cycle of abuse, where they're being abused, or in any experiences they're having abuse, chances are that that person is stuck in victim patterning. Ginger is an oil that can help them release the victim patterning, release those energies from their body that are ultimately calling forth more experiences to prove to themselves that they're a victim. So really, really beautiful, powerful plant. Well, I guess it's a root, really, for releasing our victim consciousness, releasing victim patterning. And it's also great at detoxifying the body as well. So just 3 more here of our specialty blends. Black pepper is one of my absolute favorites for, and I think I've used half the bottle, and I've only had this bottle for a couple of weeks. It's one of my absolute favorites because black pepper brings to the surface all of our unconscious fears and subconscious fears. So it brings them to the surface in a way that's not overwhelming or overpowering. It allows them to surface those so that we can become clear of some of the subconscious beliefs and patterns that have been holding us back from really thriving. So black pepper will oftentimes be in a lot of the protection blends that I make and things of that nature. I use it just dropping it down the spine of my back so that it gets into the entire blood flow rather instantaneously. It's the quickest way to get these oils into your blood is dropping it down the spine. We'll talk about some of the other points as well. that said black pepper is a huge aid for doing shadow work, for doing fear processing, all of that to cleanse and purify those subconscious fears and limiting beliefs. Okay, so 2 more here. This one is going to be a much more gentle release. The black pepper can be like a kind of intense experience, same with the top one, whereas thyme is going to come in and offer a really sweet release of energies that allows for forgiveness to emerge. So any stuck patterns, related to our family, we haven't forgiven someone, or we're able to release a certain pattern and behavior that has been perpetuating in our relationships because we haven't found forgiveness yet. So thyme is going to come in, allowing thyme to rest on your heart, and 3 drops across your chest is the best way to use thyme to allow for forgiveness to emerge. So really great oil to use for releasing, surrendering. This is a really lovely one to use in like a restorative yoga class as well. And I know Maria is a restorative yoga teacher, so I dropped that in. It's a really lovely one to use at the end of or beginning of a restorative yoga class, because it helps them to get into their heart, get into that space of forgiveness, and it's very sweet and gentle the way that it works with your body. And then the last one that we'll chat about in this little section, there will be another section at the end that will talk about some of the divine oils that will usher in high vibrations and light as well, that I just offered in as a little bonus. So white fur. White fur is the oil of generational healing. So it assists us in processing our ancestral karma. If we have things like genetic disorders in our bloodline, or DNA imbalances, those types of things are passed down from generation to generation to generation, these repeated patterns. And a lot of us, I know, a lot of people on the planet relate with the idea that they are the person in their family that is meant to stop or end the repeated generational cycles. And I've had this conversation with hundreds of people, so I know that we're in a time of really shifting these patterns, these ancestral patterns, and breaking them down so that they can be transmuted and souls can essentially be set free from these karmic patterns with our ancestors. So white fur is going to assist us in shifting our DNA, shifting the cellular structure of our body to release ancestral holding patterns and ancestral karma. So I love to use this one on the bottom of my feet and on the back of my knees, because these are our 2 energy centers that hold on to our ancestral karma and our ancestral kind of lineage is all stored in our legs. So it's on the bottom of our feet and the back of our knees, there are 2 energy centers, our Earth Star Center, and then the one in the back of the knees, I don't really know if it has a name, that holds on to, the left leg is going to be your mother's bloodline, the right leg is going to be your father's bloodline. And using a little white fur in those areas will help to release those blocks, those cords and attachments to our bloodline, to our DNA. So those are kind of the specialty ones that I feel will likely come in handy for some of the people that are drawn to this work, to this particular workshop, to my energy. Usually people are healers or in some realm of helping and assisting others. So I thought I'd throw that in. Okay. So now we're going to go through the protocol that has been designed for cord removal and repair. So it'll use the 4 basic oils that we talked about in the beginning. And this is going to be for removing cords that are attached to us, removing cords that are attached to other people, and then repairing our aura. So the first drop is the first stage is the preparation stage. It's a drop of lemon on the crown of the head. This will open that person's channel up. Lemon has a very detoxifying, antibacterial, you use it in a lot of your cleaning products. It kind of comes in and cleans your channel out, cleans your crown out. So it's the preparation to then go into the next step, which is the cord removal. So the cord removal, the first stage of this process will be to put melaleuca down the spine. So I have 5 drops. You can use as many drops as you feel called to, depending on how tall the person is or how tall you are, how long your spine is. You just want to get the melaleuca or the tea tree to go all the way down their spine. When you're doing the cord removal, take your time, feel the energy, allow the oils at least 30 seconds to really sink in and get into your blood. Remember, in that little cell structure, it takes about 30 seconds for the cells to respond to the oil. So give yourself, at least 30 seconds, a couple of minutes. Some of them you'll notice, like, you'll feel these big shifts kind of come through your body. So let that integrate, let that process happen, and then as you feel guided, go into the next step of the protocol. That next step would be a drop of oregano on your throat. If you are someone that's super sensitive to heat, using a carrier oil like coconut, or I have also jojoba oil, depending on if people have nut allergies. The carrier oil will help to just, you put a little carrier oil on, or maybe you have a blend bottle of it so that the oregano doesn't burn as much. If you are someone who's not incredibly sensitive to heat, and maybe you have a higher little pain tolerance and you want to just go all in and put the fresh oregano on your skin, depending on the oil that you use, the brand of oil and the type of oil, which we'll talk about in a moment, you can do that. Like the doTERRA oils, you can put oregano on your skin. It will burn if there is energy that's clearing there. That said, it's not going to burn your skin or harm your skin in any way, shape, or form. So the next step of the process is going to be putting 3 drops of melaleuca, and it will go at our acupuncture point. So one acupuncture point is right underneath the 2 collarbones, and then right in the center. So you'll do 3 here, and then you'll spread it across those 3 acupuncture points. So if you've ever done tapping before, it's going to be the tapping point. So the woman that I work with, my mentor with the oils, is a Chinese medicine acupuncturist, and I've kind of added in a couple of steps to the protocol that she originally taught me that I kind of interpreted, because I work with the oils, obviously, in my own unique way. That said, she's the one who instructed me on the acupuncture points and really how to use this. She's completely stopped using needles altogether and uses these oils on the points, and finds that using the oils is like having 5 acupuncture sessions, because it goes deeper than the needles can get, because this gets brought through your whole bloodstream and it goes through your whole body. So just a little background on where this is coming from. So the 3 drops across your chest is the melaleuca, and then 1 drop on your heart of melaleuca. And then the final part of the cord removal is going to be 1 drop of oregano on your solar plexus. So again, this is going to be another space that you might want to use a carrier oil when you're using the oregano on your solar plexus. Solar plexus is a lot of heat, so it can burn a little bit. So that chunk, that 5 steps, are going to be for the removal of cords that someone else or another energy has attached to you. The next step, the cord return, this one can sometimes be a little bit more jarring for someone, energetically speaking, because what's happening is you are unplugging your cords that you've attached in other people. So the energies that you have been sending and relying on their energy to fuel you in some way, shape, or form, calling those back. So the first step with that one will be a drop of oregano on the crown of your head. So this is also incredible if you are ever caught, like just as a little side note, if you are ever caught up in the monkey mind, in the ego thought, in the fear, doubt, lack, limitation, unworthiness, 1 little drop of oregano on the crown of your head will wipe all of that away. It is the oil that essentially kills the ego. We use that terminology. It will kill the ego. It's not going to do it for lifelong. It will instantly eradicate those thoughts, though. You know, the lifelong process of transcending the ego takes some time and some devotion. This is an aid to, assist you on that journey. And I know that oftentimes, like, we can get just caught up in the moment in that monkey mind. So 1 little drop of oregano on the head will really shift that rather instantaneously. So the second part of the cord return, on the bottom of your big toes, you'll put 1 drop of oregano oil on the bottom of both your big toes. So our big toes, the meridian points that are on the bottom of our big toes, are big ones. So they're not only our mind, so our mind points at the end of our big toe, also our liver and lung points are on our big toes as well. So you're clearing like the major organs of your body. You know, the lung and liver are massive organs, the brain is a massive organ, so you're getting all those points. They're often the places that we are sending out our attachments from as well. So you get all of those points kind of anchored in doing this little piece here. So give yourself some time, allow that energy to come back to yourself. The way that I like to do this is when I do this process with people, I like to have them imagine that there have been pieces of themselves that they have fragmented and left at different stages along their journey, you know, parts of themselves that they've kind of left. And I like to imagine themselves like a bright magnet of light, and they just pull all of those parts of themselves and see these parts of themselves just coming back and gracefully, like putting a puzzle together, just come back into place without it being so jarring, because it can be very jarring of an experience when these cords come back. So if you do the visual and allow it to be, you know, you're feeling them come back like light and with grace and with ease, and knowing that they're going to find the exact puzzle place at the exact right moment to, you know, come back together. So the last step, the fourth step of the protocol, is repairing the aura. And this is going to be a very soothing process. It's using frankincense for all 3 of the steps, the oil of truth and of high vibration. It's going to repair your aura when we release these cracks. You know, if you've ever had someone talk about their aura looking like Swiss cheese before, it's because all of the cords that have been attached, and when they're removed, there can be all these holes and cracks and things of that nature. So the frankincense is going to go in and repair all of those cracks and holes. So the first one will be a drop on the crown, a drop on the third eye, and then a drop on the heart. So boom, boom, boom. And that will complete you. Your vibration will feel so good and high, and will kind of be a nice completion for this protocol. So to just talk about a couple of the experiences that some people have while doing this protocol. When you do it on yourself, you'll experience it. If you're guided to do it on other people, they can experience crying, you know, a very emotional experience as these emotions have been wrapped up in these cords. They can experience, you know, waves of emotions on top of it. You know, they might feel depression or sadness, or these emotions start to swirl that have been related to these cords, these attachments. They might go, depending on how many cords they've had attached to them, they might go through a detox physically for the next few days. So staying super, super hydrated for their body. Their body might start to detox. These cords oftentimes send a lot of toxic energy into our body. So they might go through a physical detox, things like headaches, you know, stomach ache, all of that kind of stuff from the detox process of releasing these cords. These are all common symptoms that are totally normal. They are not a sign that anything is wrong with you, or that you did something bad or wrong or not right. It's just the natural process of our body detoxing and releasing these toxic cords. So all different types of experiences can be had. The best thing to do in any moment, if someone is having, you know, if they're feeling like really overwhelmed by that, get them in their breath, get them into their body, have them breathe and drink lots of water, and just feel it, the energy being released from their body. Feel it being released, and then assure them that once the frankincense is really added, once the process is complete, their whole energy and their whole vibe will be shifted, and it will happen instantaneously. The frankincense will start working and go in and soothe them and raise their vibration and bring them, you know, full circle in a really beautiful way. So, to talk a little bit about the energetic possession and a special blend for that. Okay, so majority of possessions happen during times of trauma or shock. So any trauma or shock. They can also happen through mind control on television programs, though, as well, and things of that nature if we want to go like real into it. A lot of the mind control that's used on the news can cause for possessions to take place in our energetic field. It's designed that way. So signs of possession: having obsessive, uncontrollable cravings for salt, sugar, and fat. This is all a sign of some type of possession. Remember when I said about 60 to 70% of the people in the United States of America have possessions, and they also have salt, sugar, and fat cravings. These possessive entity energies actually live inside of the, like, say, the slaughterhouse where they're not treating cows very well. Because that's fear-based. These animals have a tremendous amount of fear, so they really feed off of that, and they use these animals to kind of gate into your energetic field. So having salt, sugar, or fat, like uncontrollable cravings. If you want a chocolate bar every once in a while, chances are you don't have a possession. It's when it's like you need to have salt, sugar, and fat in order to taste your food, is when it's a real indication that there is an entity or possession happening. The people's eyes will be glazed over, and it will be like there is not someone home, right? You know, when you look in someone's eyes and you can see them glowing and you can see their soul, especially like when you look in children's eyes, you just like see their soul. If their eyes have been glazed over and it's like no one is home, chances are no one is home, and there is an entity or possession that has attached to them and has created a disassociation. So that's when the multiple personalities will also come in. If this person has like bipolar disorder, the woman that I worked with as my mentor in this field, she actually had bipolar disorder and recognized that she had all of these entities because of her role and purpose and soul's purpose in this life. She had a lot of entities attaching to her field, and she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and she started working with the cord removal and the entity removal, and she has no symptoms, you know, of bipolar disorder anymore because she doesn't have these energies attached to her anymore. So that's a really good sign of possession. A majority of people that are deemed to be in some way mentally disabled or dysfunctional or have, you know, schizophrenia and these types of mental diseases that we call mental diseases are really just energetic possession, and having these entities attached to them and then literally not being able to come into the grounded reality that we're in. So being really kind and compassionate towards these beings that are going through a lot on the astral plane. Another really like small little sign is if someone doesn't want to be around sage, burning Palo Santo, or they don't want to be oiled. This is a sure tell sign that they have something clinging to them energetically. Because if they don't want something that's going to clear their energy, chances are there's something attached to them that does not want to be cleared. So I found little tricks with that. Like my family had a moment in time when they wouldn't let me burn sage or Palo Santo in the house, and I recognized the energy that was attaching to them, and I told them that sage and Palo Santo kept away mosquitoes, so that they would start burning it, because everyone wants mosquitoes to not bother them. So I used that as the gate kind of in to get them to use these things, and now they like love sage and Palo Santo because they no longer have this energy that doesn't want to be cleared attached to them saying, no, don't go there. So if someone doesn't want to be saged or oiled or have Palo Santo or something else that's going to clear their energy, if they're like weary of crystals and things of that nature, crystals that enhance their energy, these are all signs that this individual has an entity possession of that nature. This is a really great picture that kind of like describes what's happening at an energetic level when someone has these cords and these possessions. It's like you're in chains, you know, you're a prisoner to these energies. I am a proponent of sovereignty and freedom. I am here for freedom on this planet. So all of this is ultimately to support our freedom. There we go. We're breaking free from our chains. So the possessions blend. So I give 2 different blends. The first blend is going to be based off of 1 kit of oils that's like the Family Essentials kit, oils that chances are most people have available to them. I'll talk about the oil kits in a moment, and these oils are all in that kit. So oregano, so if you use a little 10 ml bottle, and that's something like this. So this is my possessions blend actually right here. So it would be 12 drops of oregano, or you can play around with the drops, whatever your heart and soul resonates. You'll start to notice, if you haven't already noticed, if you haven't already been working with the oils, if the oils start talking to you. They start communicating who they're for. They start telling you how many drops you need. They tell you what oil you need to put on. They start communicating to you because they're our spirits. They're the devas of the plants and mineral kingdom. So play around with the drops in your blends if you're ever making blends. So the format is the oregano, then about 20 drops of melaleuca, 10 drops of lemon, and then 12 drops of what is called On Guard. So On Guard is a blend of oils that consist of orange, cloves, cinnamon bark, eucalyptus, rosemary, and it's a protective blend. It not only, it's like On Guard, you have your guard on, it not only protects you energetically, it also protects you if you're starting to get sick or anything of that nature. So that would be the blend for the possession removal. And then the advanced blend for someone who is really going all in, wants to go all gung-ho with their oils, which not everyone does. I was that way when I found these oils. I was I'm going gung-ho because I believe in them. So the advanced blend is going to be a mix of oregano, black pepper, about 8 drops of black pepper, 7 drops of lemongrass, 3 drops of that white fir. So this advanced blend is really great for a lot of these possessions come along through ancestral timelines. They get passed down from generation to generation. Petitgrain. So petitgrain is another oil that I didn't speak to. Petitgrain is the oil of ancestry, and it helps us to make right, clear decisions. So it goes in that alignment with white fir. Petitgrain can be used as a protection oil all on its own. I use it on my solar plexus every single day. It has a really beautiful energy to it, and it's a citrus, comes from a citrus type plant, but it has this interesting citrusy, melaleuca type smell to it. And then the last oil of that advanced blend would be the melaleuca, which is pretty much standard in all of our possession or protection work. So coming into the realm of now we've cleared our energy, right? We've cleared our energy, we've removed these cords. What usually happens is that, especially cords that have been attached for a long period of time, is that when that cord gets sent back to its maker, it tries to send it back because it has become reliant and dependent on your energy to feed it. And this is happening at a subconscious level. People aren't thinking, oh, I'm going to attach my cord to this person and drain their energy. Some people are thinking that way. Not a lot of people are. This is a very unconscious thing that's happening. So having an energy protection and clear boundaries, super clear in our physical and our energetic boundaries that we have with each other. Physical boundaries is knowing your no. Knowing what is no, and honoring yourself enough to say no when it's a no. This is being in integrity with ourselves. This is honoring ourselves, valuing ourselves. So often, I used to be in this space too, so I can speak from experience, where there was a time in my life where I didn't want to say the word no. I didn't want to say no. I didn't want to let someone down in that space. And I recognized that that was actually doing a disservice to all involved, because I would be draining in those experiences and not serving from a full cup. When I really found what are very clear no's in my experience, things started to shift very rapidly in my world. So that's a physical experience of your no. Energetic experiences of energy protection. One is using light. So literally expanding your light field. And we can all do this now. If you just close your eyes for a moment, and we'll just do this really quickly. And center in to the center of your heart. And at the center of your heart, imagine this beautiful bright light starts to ignite. And if that light has a color, just trust whatever color. Maybe it's white, maybe it's green, maybe it's gold. And then from the center of your heart, you're going to expand this light to fill up your entire body. And then you're going to expand it beyond your body to fill up the entire room that you're in. And you can use your breath to expand it truly an infinite amount of space. That said, it's just so simple as dropping into your heart and breathing that light and expanding it beyond you. You can expand as far as you'd like in this moment. That's what I just wanted to give you a very quick way of expanding your light. You can stay there for as long as you like. You can come back into your heart and know that wherever you expanded your light to, that is where your energetic boundary is. So nothing will be able to come into that realm, that orb of light around you, unless it's in alignment with light. So depending on the type of work we're doing, if you are someone like myself who's working with people in multiple countries across the globe, it can be helpful to consistently expand your light across the entire planet. If you're someone who's working with people, just in your state or in your country or, in one continent, you can expand it that far. If you're someone who's working on the astral plane and you're working in a rather galactic way, I have my boundaries spread all the way out beyond the Milky Way galaxy. So when I do this process, I don't stop until my boundary, my light, is all the way outside of the Milky Way. So you're the only person that knows how far your boundary needs to go, and know that you can always expand it even further. If, for instance, so when I know that I'm about to share something that's going to be triggering to a lot of people, before I go and share it, I expand my boundary further than maybe it was expanded before, so that only energies of light is going to be welcomed back into that field. So that's using light. The second is using the oils. So protective blend options. There's a few different options. One is using the blend of Melaleuca and On Guard, and this is going to be standard in most oil kits that you get, to have a protective blend and a tea tree. Whether you use doTERRA or another oil, and we'll talk about that in a moment, usually, typically standard in kits, they give you some type of On Guard or some type of protection or cleansing or purify, or whatever they call it, and then tea tree. So a blend of the two of those, 1 drop each on your solar plexus for 3 weeks. So it'll take 3 weeks before this becomes embedded in your aura and becomes your permanent boundary. So Petitgrain, the oil that we just talked about, if you're interested in that oil, this is a very strong oil, and it only requires 2 weeks of using it every day on your solar plexus for it to become permanent in your aura. And then we come into what I use as a highly sensitive being who has lots of experiences with the spirit realm and showing up physically, is what I like to call the highly sensitive spirit blend. And this is a blend of oils for someone who is able to, feel the energetics that are happening. If you ever go into a space and you start to feel dizzy or hot or overwhelmed, or maybe you have a hard time in large crowds, like I have a terribly hard time being in groups of even just 10 people together in a gathering. I have all these types because I feel all the energetics that are happening. It can become very challenging to be in those places. So I turn to this blend and I keep it on hand at all times when I'm going, I've had moments at like Trader Joe's where I've been like, ah, the energy is so much in here. So this blend has been a game changer in a real powerful way, because I am not in this life to be a hermit, essentially. So this blend is a mix of, again, in the 10 ml bottle, is a mix of petitgrain, 8 drops, 12 drops of melaleuca, 5 drops of black pepper, 3 drops of lemon, and 5 drops of frankincense. So if petitgrain is not available to you, you can use On Guard as a supplement, and you can use oregano as a supplement for black pepper when that's not available. So with those 2 supplements, the On Guard and oregano, if you went into the realm of purchasing these oils, you could get a standard kit and just supplement those 2 for anyone who wants to be able to use these oils. And sometimes petitgrain and black pepper can be, you have to order them. They're not ones that you're going to find selling at your Whole Foods. Okay, so we're wrapping up. We'll be done by the half hour, so everyone knows in time. Not all oils are created equal. So I know that we have people in here from other countries, so I can't speak to your country and what your standards are. That said, obviously you've likely heard of the FDA. Here in the United States, you have the FDA, and their regulations essentially allow for any company to label its oils as 100% pure, as long as it contains at least 5% of the actual oil alleged. So this is a key piece. There was something that happened with Young Living oils where they were actually selling lemongrass as Melissa. And Melissa, which is, or maybe actually I have it right here. So this tiny little bottle, it's 5 ml of the Melissa, is like $150. So they were selling lemongrass that you can buy this big for $15 as Melissa. And they were getting away with it for a long time because it's alleged. Whatever you put, you can say anything you want on the label. So 98% of the essential oils that are sold are altered and not really fit for use in the way that we have been talking about them. They're not fit to be put onto your skin. They're definitely not fit to be put inside of your body. Or you 100% don't want to be dropping any of these oils on the front of your head. 100% not. So quality really matters when it comes to using the oils. And once you start to play around with certain really high quality oils, you'll start to see that. So these are kind of the 4 different aspects of oils that are on the market. We have the synthetic, which is a vast majority of oils on the market are from the perfume and industrial. So these are toxic chemical fragrances. If you've ever had people who complain about oils because they make their head hurt, chances are it's because they're using synthetic oils that have toxic chemicals, and it's the chemicals that are actually making their head hurt. Like I used to have a teacher, like way back in the day when I was in school still, you could not wear any scent into her class because it gave her a blinding migraine. It's because of the chemicals that are in the fragrances. That's the majority of oils. As you can see, it's the largest amount of oils here. So then we come into our food, the green circle here, so the next largest. And these are going to be cooking extracts and flavorings. So again, not the quality that you're going to want to use for the type of energetic work that we're doing. Because it has, whenever something has flavorings, it's not going to be the pure quality of it. So then therapeutic grade, so this little purple dot here, is, obviously we know what therapeutic means. That said, therapeutic is an unregulated standard, so it's not regulated, and it often leads to mislabeling. So I could start an oil company and slap therapeutic on it, or slap pure on it, and there are no regulations to those labelings. So it's very misleading. and it can lead to having compromised quality and very marginal health benefits. And if we're using these oils for healing, for energy clearing, all of this is healing, we want to have oils that are going to actually work. So then we come into the smallest group of oils, and this is certified pure therapeutic. So certified pure therapeutic oils are, this has been trademarked by doTERRA, because doTERRA is pretty much on the cutting edge of the highest quality oils, the highest vibrational oils on the planet. All of their plants are 100% harvested in their natural habitat, meaning the bottle of Hawaiian sandalwood that I have was harvested on Hawaii by a family who has been harvesting sandalwood for generations. So what they're doing is they have farms all over the planet in the natural environment of each of the plants, and they have farmers that have been working with these particular crops for, you know, passed down generation to generation. So they really understand the plant. They really understand the essence and the spirit of it. And if you've ever talked to farmers before, they're very into this kind of thing. You know, my dad was a farmer, so even to this day, when he sees a farmer like doing work, he like gets excited and starts talking about everything that he's doing and for the land. So the oils, the certified pure therapeutic, they're beyond organic. They're 100% pure. They're free of all pesticides, fillers, and foreign contaminants. So they really go steps beyond organic to ensure that the soil is pure, that the soil is mineral rich and filled for really good quality, high vibrational plants and oils. And then every single batch goes through rigorous third-party testing to ensure that the benefits are the same in every batch, and that they are incredibly powerful without harmful side effects. So they go steps beyond what most other companies do when it comes to ensuring that they're putting out the best and highest vibrational and quality oils in the market. You can use them in aromatherapy. You can put them on your body without carrier oils. And what I personally love about them is that you can put them, you can ingest them, you can take them into your body. So like in this water right now, I have 3 different oils. I have lime, lemon, and zendocrine, which is an endocrine system blend that really helps with detoxing the liver and other functions. So I always have those 3 oils in my water, and you can put all of them in your body. So if you're feeling a little bit low on vitamin C, you know, for a couple days, you can be having lemon in your water, or, you know, if you're feeling like you need a detox, you can actually use the cilantro in your body without any harmful side effects. It's 100% pure. So when we talked about the synthetic, and I think it was like 85% or 90% of the market is essentially saying so long as it's 5% of the bottle. So this entire bottle is 100%, this is On Guard, this is a blend of oils. So this bottle is 100% lemon in this bottle. There's nothing else in it other than pure lemon essence. So when we're talking about healing and doing work of that nature, look, the chat is coming through. Yes, Lisa, thank you so much for sharing with us, and I'll send you the replay. So things of that nature. So quality incredibly matters. So now is time, as we start to transition, I promise we'll be done. 8 minutes there. To begin to clean up our mess and really stop just brushing the dust underneath the rug. You know, I love this, clean up your mess, love mother. And it's time for us to take responsibility for the root causes instead of just brushing stuff under the rug, which is our energy. The root cause of all of the experiences that we're having on this planet are unhealthy energetic exchanges with each other. Unhealthy energetic exchanges within our own body as well. So I personally work with doTERRA oils that we've been talking about. So I'm going to just share with you about a couple of different oils that are available to you and how you can get your hands on these oils if that is something that resonates with you. And then I'm going to share at the last moment a few oils that will infuse your life with divine grace, light, and flow to kind of go to the other end of the spectrum with some really beautiful oils. So this Family Essentials Kit is contains all of the oils that you need for the basic clearing. For everything that we talked about today, it has the melaleuca, the oregano, the lemon, the on guard. It has all of the oils that you need for pretty much everything that we covered, along with, you know, you have your deep blue for healing after exercise, digest them, which is really great for digestive system and stomach and queasiness and all of that lovely stuff. It also comes with lavender, which is an amazing oil. So it's called the Family Essential Kit because this is essentially everything that you could take your medicine cabinet, empty it, and replace it with this kit. And you would have everything that you would need for any of your common ailments that are going to come up into your field. And it also includes all of the oils that we talked about in the basic energy cleansing kit. So I'll give space for questions and all of that in a moment. So if you did want to go ahead and either invest in oils now or in the future, for all of these oils, it's $150, and you also become a wholesale customer for free on top of that, which is usually another $25. So you get the wholesale prices on all of doTERRA oils. Typically, the wholesale prices save you about $10 a bottle, sometimes more, depending on the oil. Some of the oils, like Melissa, is like a $150 bottle of oils. The most expensive oils that are on the market are rose and jasmine, because it takes like 10,000 petals of rose to make a tiny 5 milliliter bottle of rose oil. So they don't even really sell, the doTERRA doesn't even sell their rose or jasmine because they wouldn't even be able to produce enough to sell. They give them out as like little bonuses at holiday times and such. So just to talk about that for a moment. So this is the base to get you all of your oils and kits, and then there are other kits that kind of grow from that space, and we can have a deeper conversation about all of this at any moment in time. The next kit that people usually will go to from the Family Essentials is the Home Essential, which goes from giving you the 5 milliliter bottle to the 10 ml. So it's just much more oil that you get, and you also get a diffuser to use aromatherapy at your house. So, and you get more savings through going up through this kit as well. And then the Natural Solutions kit, I won't go into detail about now. It includes all those oils, and then it gives you the On Guard products, which are like the toothpaste, the soap, the detergent, the cleansing, the shampoo, all of their natural care. So this is like essentially replacing all of the toxic chemicals that you might be putting in or on your body, replacing them with this kit. Is kind of the piece of it. So I obviously am a rep for doTERRA, and I've been working with these oils for a while now. So if you do have any questions, there is absolutely no pressure at any time to buy. I just want to make them available for you to know that you can have access to these oils. I'll include the link when I send you all the replay of this as well. So don't feel like you need to rush and write it down. And at any time, if you have questions after, just feel free to come in and message me or email me or anything like that. So, to just share a moment of gratitude with you all, I wanted to honor you with a few of my favorite oils for bringing in divinity, light, flow, really loving vibrations, because we were talking a lot about like entities and possessions and cord removals. So let's go into some, like there's 5 oils here that are really, really high vibrational light oils. So myrrh, and then we'll wrap up, and I swear I'm honest with the time. So we have myrrh here, the oil of Mother Earth. So if you are working through scarcity stories, if you're working through not feeling grounded or connected to this earth, not feeling supported, not feeling held, myrrh literally comes in, and it's like the whole Mother Earth just wraps her arms around you and holds you and loves you and allows you to feel super grounded. So I actually use this oil every day. I put it on my sacrum, which is a really great acupuncture point for helping you to feel super grounded. It's really amazing oil for when people are in transitional moments. Maybe they're transitioning from one job to their next moment in time, and they might be facing their scarcity stories or those types of stories that start to present themselves when we're making transitions and shifts in our lives. The next one is arbor vitae. I might be butchering it. That's just how I say it, arbor vitae. So this is the oil of divine grace. It literally allows for you to experience the effortless flow and the true grace that is present in all surrounding us. So if someone is experiencing moments where they're not able to see the magic and see the wonder and see the beauty, this oil brings you the remembrance that truly, even in the midst of our, shadow moments or our moments of karmic healing, we are surrounded at all times by a tremendous amount of grace, which I think is another representation of this planet and how beautiful this planet is that we have this constant reminder that there is beauty, there is grace all around us. And this oil is a really great reminder of that. So another one that I used rather often is Roman chamomile. So it's a blend, it's a type of chamomile called obviously Roman, and the oil is spiritual purpose. So assisting people in finding their truth and finding their purpose. It's really great to be rubbed on the thymus gland, which is the gland that connects us to our spiritual purpose. Also on the crown. So it helps you to just connect to why am I here? What's the spiritual purpose of my experience and of my life? So the last two, sage, which I talked about staging people actually using clarity stages and oil. This is the oil of clarity and vision. So it helps you to open up your third eye. It helps you to connect with your angels and your guides. Helps you to be very clear and focused if you're ever having a headache. If you're someone who is doing the inner work and when you do your third eye work, you start to get a headache here, rubbing a little sage will help to bring clarity into any headache and stuff like that of that nature. And the final one was Melissa, the oil of light that I talked about earlier, and it literally showers light down through your body. It's truly a divine oil. It helps to awaken the soul to truth and to light, and reminds individuals why they came to this earth, why you chose to come to this earth. So those are just little favorites. I just want to take a moment at a time. If you guys all have time, that's essentially the last slide here, to see if you guys have any questions or anything that you'd like to ask. And I'll just take you off mute for a moment to see if you do have any questions. And if you don't have any questions now, that's totally all right. If you have questions, you can, my email will be on the next page. You can feel free to email me. We're all connected on Facebook though too, so that's usually the quickest way to get a response from me is through Facebook. I don't always check my email multiple times a day, so the fastest way to get a response, if you do have questions that come up, the oils, or if you do want to, purchase some oils for yourself to get started, feel free to just send me a message and I can support you in that journey with any questions you have, especially when you start working with them. When you start working with them, if you're called to work with them, please share with me, even if you don't have questions, just share with me your experience and share with me how they show up for you, because I really love hearing from people about how they experience the earth. It truly lights me on fire, this planet, and I can feel my heart welling up in emotion because I love this earth so much. It's yeah, it's a special place, this planet, and I would love to maintain that specialness through sharing for medicine. So that is my whole experience. Thank you so much. These are the ways that you can keep in touch with me. If you don't have my email address already, it's very simple. It's JessicaJones@lovesmission.com. Lovesmission.com is my website, and then mydoterra.com/rainbowjones is my doTERRA site if you want to go and check out the products, ask me any questions, connect. doTERRA is doing some really spectacular things for this planet, really spectacular. They're ensuring that the land stays rich and the soil stays filled with nutrients, and they're providing jobs to farmers in their natural land that otherwise wouldn't have these opportunities. So not only are you getting the best oils on the planet, you're supporting people that truly care about the earth. And I think that is important. Where we invest our money is a direct response of the energy that we're going to get in return. So that's all I have for you today. If no one has any questions or anything like that of that nature, I am so grateful for your time, for your interest in learning about oils. I hope that you take this information and you use it and you share it with others and you spread the healing of the earth. I so appreciate all of you who watch this now with me and those who are going to watch the replay. It's such an honor and pleasure to connect with you. So I won't keep any more of your time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye, everyone.